Thank you, Brian.
You know,
Our political correspondent.
Yeah, in Daura. One of the things I really thought about, you know, a question that crossed my mind was, did Mr. President also wake up to the news, or this was strictly an independent decision from INEC?
Well, maybe much later, Ibrahim might get to ask him and see if they could give us some response concerning that. But, you know, there are several other people who were deployed for these elections. I remember some of them, our guest had mentioned the core members who were initially deployed for this and what provisions had been made for them at the time, if there were. But these are some of the images coming through for the core members.
How they spent their night, the pictures this morning, how they had to sleep on the floor in such a state, even, and this looks like a classroom of some sort. But this was how they bunked overnight.
And all because they wanted to provide service to their fatherland. It's very, very touching. Well, I guess it's now confirmed.
And even in a bus.
And even in this kind of bus.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, more reactions about all of this now in terms of what's happening.
We must also remind our listeners and viewers that you can send us some of your reactions, pictures to the news on Twitter. Hashtag, of course, The Verdict, and via email, theverdict@channelstv.com. Hashtag 2019 election, or election 2019, and also a 30-second video to Instagram and our Facebook page as well.
Oh, just send it anyway. What's important is let's get your reaction. It's definitely it's pan-Nigeria.
Okay. And speaking about the reactions, they continue to trail this postponement of the elections by INEC. A statement by the spokesperson of the All Progressives Congress's Presidential Campaign Council, Mr. Festus Keyamo, says the party roundly condemned the postponement of the election. The statement says, quote, "We condemn the postponement of the election, but urge our teaming supporters to be patient and determined." Mr. Keyamo therefore hopes that INEC will remain neutral and impartial in this process, especially as the rumor mill is agog with the suggestion that this postponement had been orchestrated in collusion with the main opposition, the PDP, that was never ready for the election. In the meantime, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Prince Uche Secondus, says the shoddy arrangements for this election by the Independent National Electoral Commission is a deliberate, predetermined agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari to cling on to power even when it is obvious to him that Nigerians want him out. In a statement signed on his behalf by his special advisor on media, Ike Abonyi, Prince Secondus insists that the postponement, which is part of a grand design by the All Progressives Congress, APC, to thwart the will of Nigerians at all costs, clearly exposes INEC as a failure and calls on the chairman of the commission, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, to resign immediately. Prince Secondus adds that APC, in connivance with INEC, have been trying all options, including, but not limited to, burning down INEC offices in some states and destroying of electoral materials to create artificial problems upon which to stand for their dubious act. And speaking further, Prince Secondus says, quote, "For the avoidance of doubt, the PDP sees this action as wicked, and we are also aware of other dubious designs like the deployment of hooded security operatives who will be ruthless on the people ostensibly to scare them away." Well, this then leads us to the responses of the two leading political parties, the APC and the PDP. So at this moment, we've got Alhaji Abubakar Galadima, the spokesperson for PDP Presidential Campaign Council in Abuja. We also have Akim Akintayo, who is a member of the APC, and he was a member of the Presidential Campaign Council in 2015. Gentlemen, good morning and thank you for joining us today. Let me start with you, Alhaji Galadima. Let's get your response on this postponement. What were your thoughts when you heard it?
Well, I wasn't surprised over the postponement because it was in the air. Everybody could feel it that this would be the last card that oppressors will play. But I want to thank Nigerians and men of God in our country for their prayers that had helped expose the evil machinations of these evil people and evil government. We know as a fact days in that there were a lot of secret correspondences and high-level intrigues being played out. And between the Office of the National Security Advisor, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation, the Ministry of Aviation, and INEC. And what the APC government had wanted was a staggered election in such a way that when elections are held in certain states and others kept at bay, it will now be that they will know with how many votes Atiku could have defeated General Buhari, such that they will mobilize the security agencies, including soldiers, police, and other paramilitary to rig elections in the remaining states. But God has exposed them because of the prayers of Nigerians. When international community insisted, and the nation should know, insisted that the elections must hold in all the 36 states, including Abuja, simultaneously, that they would not accept any staggered election. And I would also, on the benefit, want to thank the chairman of INEC, even though some members of my party feel otherwise because they didn't know what was happening behind the scene, for standing firm to refuse not to yield to pressure to hold the staggered election. I had also on this program severally said that they will induce violence in certain states of the Federation, especially in Kaduna and Southern Kaduna. People have seen it now being played out. I also want to tell the nation that as at yesterday afternoon, the presidency has summoned all bank MDs to their place when they refused to deploy money because they wanted to overstretch the opposition by paying agents and spending their money so that they will postpone this election. We know that this is on the cards. And the bank MDs, only God knows what secret deal they had with federal government. And federal government is sending money to states through central bank. All this is known to us. I want our supporters to know that we are very much alive to our responsibility. We are alert and we are up to the task that whatever any senior member of this government has done, either through telephone or voice message, that it will be in on our palms, and that we will know whatever they will do, and we will checkmate them. This is fair. They know that they have lost the election. I have never seen in my political life that in the atmosphere, the election has already been decided by the peoples of Nigeria, by the peoples of this country, that this government must go, that Buhari must go, that Atiku will come in. It has already been decided. 1 million times they postpone this election, Atiku will still win.
We need to bring in Akim. Let's also get his response. Not to worry, we'll still come back to you. But I'd like to just hang it a minute. We need to bring in Akim. Akim, is this the plan that your party has hatched, as Alhaji has referenced?
Well, you know, when he was talking, I was actually smiling. You know, the reason for my smile is because Alhaji is just fabricating story. Apology to him is an elder statesman, but what he's saying is below standard. But going forward, the point is, everyone, most Nigerians, let me say every Nigerian is disappointed that this election was postponed. It is not, it wasn't expected, but Nigerians have already made up their mind to be resolute, to vote for continuity, to vote for the change they've seen. and they are not going to be swept by the propaganda being dished out by Alhaji here and so many PDP stewards out there. Of course, there were a grand plan. Maybe it's a good call, by INEC, because they've seen the orchestrated plan by PDP to rig the election. Of course, as you know, Chamberlain, that they had a Dubai strategy plan, and first of all is to chunk out fake news, and also to procure machinery from Russia, from America, in order to discredit the system and to derail the democratic processes that has been led by INEC. I think we should give INEC benefit of doubt to do their homework very well. Yes, they talked about logistics reason, and of course we cannot detach it from PDP.